guztioi eta ongi etorriak gaurkoan.
Good morning and welcome. We're going to start a new edition of Gutun Zuria that will take place until April the 6th. This is International Literature Festival. I am in very good company here and going to mention most of them. Hope I don't miss anybody. We've got the director of Azkuna Zentroa, Fernando Perez, Ivan de la Nuez, Mr. Sola, and Fernando de la Fuente is somewhere here, Veronica Gerber, Maria Moore from Consoni, the writer and photographer Joan Foncuberta, the Basque poet Mayalen Lohabian, and Lars Gregersen, the artist that will lately make a short presentation of the opening piece of this festival. So we are presenting this veteran on its 12th edition festival, and that is renewing itself with a new approach. So this is an open space where we want everybody to enjoy contemporary culture and art. So at the City Council, we think that culture is something, an asset that should be within the reach of everybody, and that is where we are putting our effort. And we are talking about literature in a dialogue with art, with audiovisuals, with photography, with arts in general that goes beyond the pages of a book, with first-rank creators and writers for a very wide audience. And now she speaks in Basque, and she's repeating that she is presenting the 12th edition of this very well consolidated literature festival with very new things this year and with a new approach. The goal is to make everybody enjoy contemporary art and contemporary literature. Because culture is a good an asset that should be really at the reach of everybody, and this is a very good example of it. Without any further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to Fernando, and then we will have the speakers today intervening. Thank you everybody for attending. As she said, this is a reference within the contemporary culture context, and also for those that love literature. In this festival, we go beyond the lines of a written piece of paper. We set a dialogue with photography, with poetry, and with audiovisual. With the audiovisual scene, and this is why we have different workshops with Veronica Gerber, with a workshop that she is proposing to us. Also, we will have encounters with different writers of the Basque literature, and also interviews and round tables. This means that we have a new approach to the Basque literature, and then we will also listen to Mayalen Lohabian, Basque writer and poet. So this is very interesting for those that really like literature within the contemporary arts. Well, he is repeating that we go beyond books, and we set a dialogue with the other artistical disciplines like arts, photography, and audiovisuals. And we're doing this by means of different workshops, and we have one with Veronica where we will see the different narrative possibilities of art. We also meet independent agents of art. We have round tables and workshops that go beyond new aspects of creation, and conferences that the one that is going to be given by Mayalen Lohabian, talking about the bridges they are laying in between the Basque poetry and other art. So tonight we will see how to narrate art. In the first part, the starting point is Alonso Hosler, because he said that Berlin library is something that is vain. And I think then José Lima will follow one of his texts. So we use different disciplines and languages, and we're linking different arts. And we are basically approaching a wide variety of audiences. And Gutun Zuria sets a dialogue, as we've said previously in some weeks ago, in between what is real and what is not real. And this is what we show up until September 22nd in the exhibition hall. So this is possible thanks to the complexity of all the different teams of Azkuna Zentroa. We've been also working with the French Institute, so thank you all for your support to make this possible. Now I would like to give the floor to Joan Foncoberta. I'm also speaking on behalf of my advisors, Iñaki and Beñat, that are around here, and also as curator of this exhibition. The idea behind Gutun Zuria of this present edition, and I am grateful to Gutun Zuria to be so courageous to devote these two arts and then the festival to literature. This is a very interesting symbiosis that sort of shows what this center can provide. And we are very enthusiastic about it, but we know we're running a risk, because these are different combined languages that usually do not sort of are seen together in most literature festivals. But we are running the risk of having them together. So our mission is to get what the exhibition says and take it into this festival. I guess when Iñaki, Esteban, Alicia Koff, and Villamates on the last conference, they will sort of talk about these. I think the festival would sort of go back to the exhibition that we have. So art is not only about literature, it's about creating different combinations with literature. This is not about only novels or novel writers or writers in general talking about something, but talking from that point of view. This is why here we're going to see writers and authors and artists that use different disciplines but combine them in a very honest and easy way. Same as happens in the field of music and also in audiovisuals and so on and so forth. We're going to go in different disciplines. So all along this festival, we're going to attend to somehow a version of what is now called expanded literature, but it's something else. It is literature, but it's also taking into account something that is like the logo of this exhibit and festival. It's the line written by Artaud that it's drawing is never real, but it is always true. So I think when we are trying to have a critical approach to the reality that is always imposed to us, we're sort of trying to be behind the multiple realities that media really sell to us, and we're trying to find that sort of a hint of a truth. And we all do these from our own point of view, our own format, or from a different way to approach your own world. And this is what we would like to show in this festival. This is a round program. It is an endless program. We are going to find different activities, from a show to a simple talk by a writer. Everything is interlinked, and so everything here is understood as if this was made of rhizomas, and we are running this risk of sort of showing this as a rhizome with lots of freedom. This festival also pays a tribute to Husmich, one of the first writers that did fiction on art, and his line of an essay that I think is a masterpiece. If my library would be set on fire today, that will also sort of shed some light. So this festival is like a torch So he said that he would not have to worry because then he would be able to have those books again. The important thing is what that moment of the moment when you read might leave to you. And I think that is very important. So we go beyond the text and we go beyond traditional literature and we go beyond books as objects. And suddenly we're going to find here a talk, a concert, a recital that is pure poetry, but it's not exactly a book. And on the other way around, we're going to see also arts that is only in the imagination of the writers or authors that participate in this festival. So this is a very interesting combination that I think is really the symbol of these 21st century arts. We will try that every presentation will be also a summary of the festival, like would sort of show the essence of the festival itself. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here in Bilbao, and I would like to thank you for inviting me to be part of the exhibit and the festival. And I'd like to say that for a while I've been working in this relationship that Iban mentioned in between visual arts and literature, and I've always been asked, why do you combine visual arts and literature? So why do you do that? And trying to give an answer to that question, this is why I organized this workshop that I am giving here, because I think there is an aesthetic purpose on doing it, and also to make relationship in between languages more flexible. It could be a body language, the sound language, and literature language. So beyond the sort of artistic or literature goals, I think this approach us to the language of a future. This is why I am proposing this workshop called The Destruction of Words. It's something beautiful. That is a line that I got out of the film based on the book 1984, and that relates very well to Huxley's line, because destroying words is something that you do to construct, and this is a contradiction, because in 1894 destruction wasn't like that. In my workshop, the idea is that you have to rethink the relationship in between different media and support, how these are going to enable us to think of a language we're going to be using in the future, that in the best possible situation sort of allow us to think what's going to happen, changing the syntaxes and the order of the discourse that we use. I mean, this might sound too sort of big or large, but this is about answering by thinking that maybe the simple gesture of thinking in literature and audiovisual arts means that we're going to change the very roots of language to invent new language that will enable us to understand the future. And this is something that John Hathaway already is saying, that says that we have to find new stories, because that language that is combined, as we see in the exhibit curated by Iban, and as it is going to happen this festival, this is the purposes of a counter-narrative. And this is what we are going to be doing in my workshop today and tomorrow. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to the festival. I represent the Basque poets. The improvised poetry. And the fact that Bertsolarismo, so the improvisation of poetry in Basque language, is now present in this festival, I think is very interesting. And I think this discipline is like the previous step to the written word. So this is just the oral word, and then letters are written words, the image of a voice. Therefore, from this basic point of view of orality and point of view of voice, and also thanks to the flexibility of the words that we use in this kind of Basque improvised poetry, I will try to explain the paths we've been following. In my case, I will be part of a round table on a Friday with Beatriz, Chibete, and we are writing in Basque, the three of us, and Nele Sarri Ugarte, and Beñat Tarsola, and Eric Dicharric, and Eric and Beatriz. In their cases, they will intervene in an experimental way with images, and I think I've been experimenting more with contemporary arts. But each of us, we will follow a path, and we will talk about the path we've been following. I know the work of my colleagues, and I think this is going to be a very nice occasion to draw comparisons, to see differences in between Beñat Sarsola and between all of us, and Beñat Sarsola will be sort of the moderator, coordinating, articulating all this. Well, thank you very much, Daniele. Thank you to all of you. I am a member of the Canzoni group. Some of you already know me. Iñaki, Maria, Dean, and myself, we are a publishing house, and we have the headquarters in a nearby neighborhood in Bilbao La Vieja. And we are in a residency here in this center since last year, which make possible to combine what we do with the program of the AZ Center, Azkuna Zentroa Center. I would like to talk about something else, and I would like to seize this occasion to say that it's an honor to be part of this opening session with Mayalen, Veronica, Nekane, Ivan, Lars, and Joan. Thank you very much, and I feel like I would like to talk about something else being here with you, but I'm going to rather talk about Gutun Zuria. This particular case, we have a double participation because Canzoni is also a hybrid being, as many of you here, as Ivan and Veronica said, and we're going to participate with different identities from the point of view of literature, from the point of view of art as a publishing house, but also by means of our radio work and also as art producers. And in the Azkuna Zentroa, they wanted to sort of get us involved in this edition to see how we can get other fields of art in this festival. So we are combining independent or freelance edition or publishing. So at the end of the day, we're going to have here like some 20 people talking about independence or freelance publishing houses. And we're going to have different partners talking about common and different point of views like Pepitas de Calabaza, Hojas de Lata, Capital Swing, Asal Soleil, Astiberri, and Nordica, and Rayo Verde, Rata Natura, Catacrack, Chanda Pólvora, Con Tinta Me Tienes. This seems like the shopping list. But we have to mention all of these freelance or independent publishing houses, and then we from here, Bilbao, Consoni. So with all these publishing houses, one of the main goals is to get together to talk and to see what issues we have in common, and if possible, to sort of build collective strategies. So to devote to these debates quality time, to talk about what we, the publishers, we talk in different conferences, centers, when we meet for breakfast or in an informal meeting. And in the future, in coming editions, the idea is that this initiative will not end this year, but will also take place next year. And this year is when we're going to talk about the future format of this event. And this encounter about publishing links to the other way in which we participate in the festival. Publishing houses are going to be interviewed by Alicia San Juan in the special edition of her postcard, Voices in the Garden, Voces en el Jardín. And Consoni Radio with AZ, we are running a radio show from a wonderful studio here at the entry hall. And in some of the days, we're going to have Alicia Kopp talking with the different people participating in Gutun Zuria, like Gutun Zuria, Veronica Gerber, Beñat Sarasola. And on Friday, this is going to be devoted to independent publishing houses. So we've been working in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we will share with the audience what happened in the morning encounter, and also we'll talk about our different sort of lines of work. So the audience will get to learn how we work and the work that is behind the books that we sort of very passionately read, and we would like to show you what is behind a book, behind the written word. And some of these books will be for sale, because in dialogue with these independent publishing houses, we want to also belong to other specialized and small initiatives around books. So this is why we have independent booksellers in the city. We have 3 of them: Antin Libranda, Luis Michel Libranda, and Binario Libros. And they will be present in the atrium with their catalogs. And then there is also the signing of books that take place every year in the festival, will happen in the atrium. And they've been choosing some different books at the Mediateca here, and it will be by the sale point. And thank you very much to the whole team, Esti, Barbara, Irune, John, Oraderi, Ivan, Olaya, Fernando, of course, and the whole team. You know, I love this list, but, well, I don't want to miss anybody. So I think to everybody working in here, the Alondiga Azkuna Zentroa, thank you, because they've been working very hard to make this possible, and still, during these days, are going to be working very hard. Thank you very much. Well, Egunon, good morning. I think the preceding speakers, they've been talking about the destruction of words, about libraries that are set on fire. So we have the impression that this image of the burning of books and words is somehow a recurrent element in every dystopia. And I think that all the texts that sort of talk about very apocalyptic books, they disappear, like Bradbury, like Huxley, like Orwell, and so on. So maybe this is a symbol of the new horizons awaiting us, hopefully not. And I hope we are here to sort of ruin those destinies. Anyway, I am very much interested by the idea of war that sort of vanished due to the stress of the totalitarian powers. And I'd like to remind you that in my last exhibition, it took place in the Regional Council Library, and it was just a selection of books that used to be censored due to Inquisition. So these were books on philosophy and religion, on science, on political theory, and so on and so forth, where censorships, they would sort of really go against the words to avoid knowledge to be diffused. And they will just like burn pages, they will cover, or they will sort of scribble or even stab pages. And I've got some documents that this violence against the words led to really horrifying situations, and there they were, and we have documented them, and hopefully they will not happen again. So since I mainly work with images, I wanted to make pictures of words, and two things took me this way. Because I like words as a graphic image. So to really press the plastic graphic value of the written word, but also on the antipodes of it is the tale that it tells, because I think that the image has symbols that are very similar to words. So when the images are alive, they live in context where the word is always present. And fruit of this, my work is always in between this coming and going, in between making words speak and also making photographies that also talk. And on my intervention tomorrow will be a luxury to be with Christina de Middel, a very young artist, but with a very huge international already career. And I shared with her many ideas on how a tale with images can be very creative and open new windows to intelligence and to imagination. So if we come from the world of photography, we cannot neglect that photography was born as a part of the heritage of the technical, scientific ideas at the time of the Industrial Revolution, and we had many historical, financial conditioning that made this work in the beginning as a documentary mean. That meant that images should limit to describe something, but then within the community of photography, there were some people pushing also photography towards imagining, towards delirium. It could express also fiction, or also said in a more graphic way. Photography could also go beyond the description to reach the storytelling. So I think the avant-garde in the 20s and 30s of the 20th century showed that there is a mature language that lets photography get into fiction. But we don't use it to sort of only sort of be delirious or talk about some things that are fully surrealistic, or talk about chimeras. I think this was rather used as a tool to sort of try to approach reality. And we have this line by Picasso that said that art is an untruth, that let us tell the truth. So this is a way to structure a model of reality, and I think this is going to be the subject of what we're going to be talking with all these different projects, and also with the different intersection. And this is what we are going to be doing tomorrow, Christina Midel and myself. Well, Lars doesn't want to intervene, but I'm going to say that he's going to be at the opening session of the festival, and he's got a piece that we got to know some years ago in Canada, and we wanted to invite him because It is very much related to the philosophy and the idea of this festival, this idea of a wide open letter. So this is just to give, you know, a way to give a free hand or carte blanche to creativity. Would you like to make any questions before we see his performance? Questions? Otherwise? I just wanted to say thank you to all the artists here with us, and once again to thank you the whole team in the Azkuna Zentroa, because they always make everything very, very easy for us. So, also congratulations to Raquel. Congratulations, Raquel, sincerely.
¿Te molesta esto? Bien, así. Quitamos el sitio.